Hello, welcome to AfterBuzz TV. I have arrested control of the show from Yell, and get ready for more of this hot chocolate on the Dark Matter After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, tell me it's real. This feeling that I feel for you joining us here on AfterBuzz TV for the Dark Matter After Show. This is episode 308, season 3, episode 8, Hot Chocolate. I am your host, Tauri Miller, and I'm joined by two wonderful hosts. Andrew.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Andrew Mena. You can find me on Twitter at Andrew Mena or on Instagram at the Andrew Mena.
Natalee.
Hi, guys. I'm Natalee Dyer, and you can find me at Natalee Dyer on all social media platforms.
Awesome. Once again, I'm Tauri. You can find me at TauriJ, TauriJay. While you're here, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe so you can get this show every week in yo inbox.
Same time, same channel.
Heck yeah. So, what did you guys think about the episode overall?
I'm gonna gush, so I'll let you go first.
Okay.
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was there was a point where I was like, this is a little slow, but mainly just because I kind of saw a lot of what was coming along, I think.
Okay.
And I was just thinking it was slower than a couple of other episodes that we've had.
Interesting.
I still liked it a lot.
Right.
It just was one of those where I was like, It was also a lot of thinking of what's going to happen now, like who's doing what.
Right.
So
I mean, yes,
it was a lot of time to think.
Uh-huh.
Which, that's just too much time to think, you guys.
Yeah, everyone knows Natalee hates thinking.
Yeah, she is not a think-oriented person.
It's true. She's a doer.
She's a beer.
Yes.
Yes.
What about you, Andrew?
I loved this episode. I can't say enough. I think this was the best episode to date. I'm saying it now. That fight sequence between Rio and 2 was probably like the best choreographed and the most exciting and rad fight sequence we've gotten out of the show.
That was a really
It was
awesome
so
fight
good.
sequence.
I have so many thoughts about this episode and how lovely and wonderful it was, how much world building we did in this episode, and how many like kind of nooks and crannies we filled out, questions we kind of answered. Like I really liked this episode. I can't say enough.
That's
Please.
awesome. And so I'm going to take that energy and I'm going to disperse it by
Great.
talking about colony negotiations.
Do it.
I'm going to...
Can we get back
With
to
our
the fight
3
scene,
colony
though?
negotiators.
We'll go back to the fight scene,
we're
right?
definitely going to
Yeah.
get to the
Oh,
fight
yeah.
scene.
I definitely have comments
I'm
about that.
saving it. There's a lot of like goopy, sweet deliciousness that I'm saving for like later in the show.
Da,
we also,
honey.
stay tuned, we have a special video from the cast and crew of, or mostly the cast of Dark Matter. So
Yeah.
stay tuned and
Yeah.
we will be showing that to you later. But first, colony negotiations.
Hey, the thing we all wait for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it goes to the world building that you were talking about. We got
Definitely.
a really like we start with the scene of these people from different independent colonies arguing about whether they should join together, talking about trade routes, talking about like how they should align themselves in this war.
How they can survive in this crazy galactic war where
Yeah.
they're essentially like the smallest fish in the ocean. Yes.
And 6 is the one trying to mitigate between all of them.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So what I really enjoyed about this whole thing is you get the struggle that 6 has been going through the last, I assume it's been a few months since he left the team and then came back. So over that time, like we had just assumed that everything was going great, things were super easy, but it turns out that it's been this for months.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is just terrible.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
Nobody wants that.
Let's talk about the 3 colony people really quick because this is another example.
Well, there's 4 to start.
I was going to say,
I was like,
there's
wait a
3 that
second.
we
Wait a
remember.
second.
All right, okay, fine. Let's talk about the 4 colony
Okay.
people and how much we cared about them because even though I wrote down long hair got knifed.
Yes.
So long hair got knifed. Sorry, long hair. I liked you, but I didn't like you as much as I like bald guy.
Can we talk
Bald
about-
guy was the best.
He was stabbed, like, long hair was stabbed in the back.
He was stabbed in the
quite
back of the
literally
neck.
like
Yeah.
Yes.
backstabbing.
He literally got backstabbed.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of symbolism there.
See that, you guys? There's
So
a lot of
much.
I think there is some symbol. There's a lot of symbolism. I feel like in this episode, so we'll talk about more of that in a minute.
Okay.
But or maybe we won't. Maybe I'm misquoting my notes. I was too excited. Maybe I can't read.
So, I mean, they plant this mystery at the beginning of the episode where long hair, his name was Rin.
Yes.
Rin was one of the 2 people named in this episode in terms of the colonists.
Did Bald guy have a name?
Bald guy did not have a name.
Thank goodness. I would have been so mad at myself.
But the redheaded lady, her name was Quill.
Wasn't
so
she
from Quill and
the-
Rin?
Yeah.
Can we talk about, I
no.
think she's the one that killed the guy.
Okay, so you think that she killed Rin?
It's an interesting point because we assume because of the reveal that it's the android.
Right.
And by we, I mean
I did,
me.
yeah, I assumed that immediately.
But it's like, especially considering their ultimate decision about everything, like it easily could have been any of them.
Right.
Like, great point. Damn.
Yeah.
Opening doors.
Yes.
Mental
So,
doors.
Their decision basically is prompted by Rio's offer. He essentially, which I feel like, despite what we know about Rio and like our history with him, I feel like it on the surface seems like a pretty good deal. He's basically like, if I'll use my clout to get you into the League of Autonomous Worlds, and all you got to do is pledge allegiance to the Ishida army, and if I need you, just like do
Just
some
answer
stuff.
the call.
Right.
Yeah. See, here's the thing though. Like, it's a dangerous situation because we don't know them. Because they're not, like, I'm not going to say not important characters, but they're not characters from the main cast. And they're not characters who are ever going to know Rio, really. So, like, they're put in a really hard situation, which is, like, live and take this deal, or die and, like, probably, or well, just die. Just straight up die. So I feel like it's a really... I'm frustrated by it because I really enjoyed the scene. I thought that Rio did a really great job of being snaky in a way that I felt like was really powerful.
Yeah.
And I thought that they all did a good job of being like, well, is this our only option? And even Six did a great job of being like, I know this guy. You guys should not listen.
Right.
And like, that's the frustrating thing is they put all of those wonderful ingredients together and they still make that wrong choice. Or at least I feel the wrong choice, you know?
Okay.
Right.
So it's
Well,
just, gosh, it's so good. So
Well,
good.
I don't understand why they weren't banding together in the first place. They just didn't want to provoke like a larger army. Is
Well,
that why they weren't? They were like,
I think that's
or was
part
there
of it.
smaller, minor arguments like, oh well, no, I want the water or whatever. Like,
So the main thing that they were arguing about is essentially there were a few factors. One, each of them viewed their resources as more important as the others,
Of course.
and so they felt like they were losing if they were to work with these other colonies.
Hey, guys.
Moreover, yes,
we learned in
Yes.
kindergarten that sharing
Is
caring.
guys, we didn't learn that in kindergarten.
Great question.
We learned it from a spearmint commercial.
But here's the question:
wait,
is there
is that why you like
is there kindergarten though, or is there even spearmint in this universe?
That's
we
true.
don't know.
Maybe
Maybe
they
they
just
don't know
never
about
had that
sharing.
commercial.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're so far in the future. It's
Yeah.
lost to the wind.
Spearmint is
Pre-internet
completely gone.
commercials.
They've never heard of double mint. Don't even talk to them about GC fruit. They don't have gum in the future.
What you got?
So Melosi is definitely in the chat.
Melosi!
Talking up a storm. He says this recent episode kicks off our best run this series.
Yes.
I have some comments for the fight scene later. He
Okay.
said yes, we have to bring back Ash because guys,
Yeah.
we had an Ash.
I
we had,
know.
we had an Ash
Solo.
reference.
It
Yeah.
was pretty
I was
dope.
real happy about that. And there's so we've got a lot of other stuff happening too.
Okay.
A lot of other stuff.
Well, let's get
Just
to
need
that
to say-
stuff
yeah.
soon. So yeah, I mean, just to round this out, their main issues were essentially that they felt like they were losing something and working together,
Right.
and also they felt like they may have been able to get a better deal if they were to try to align themselves with one of the corporations like Ferris. So Rin specifically felt like he wanted to realign himself with Ferris since his colony was originally a Ferris colony, which is probably why he was murdered.
I got the sense that there was also a sense. Well, there was also this kind of weird underlying thing that I thought you kind of touched upon, where it's like they're scared to join together because it also makes them a target for everyone else. Because it's like, hey, look, we're gonna do a thing too. It's like, oh no, you're not. We
Right.
worked a long time to become crazy cool corporations with all this money and power. We're gonna destroy you really easily.
Yeah, I thought he was. I mean, the thing is that once you power together or like band together and become a power, then you're an actual player. At the moment, you're just a pawn.
Right.
And so that's what really frustrated me when he was like, "Well, they need us," and she was like, "No,
Yeah.
no, they don't." He's like, "Well, who's gonna mine these things?" She's like, "Well, whoever they hire after they kill you."
Yeah.
You
That
know?
was a baller
That was a-
quote where
yes.
she's like, life's cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terranium
That was
is
great.
the stocks are going up.
Yeah.
200%
Yeah.
up or something like that. Yeah.
So resources are worth something. Your life is nothing.
That was a great moment between 2 and that guy. Yeah.
I really liked 2 throughout this episode, kind of being the voice of reason. Like, she's very much like the pragmatist of all of the people. Like 6, there's that moment she has with him where he's like, we got to figure out who murdered these people, and she's like, you're not a cop, bro. Like, it's better to not have a murder on the ship than to leave them here and try to hash this out.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really good moment with her as well.
I totally agree. I think she's making these really awesome, hard decisions, but also keeping that like sense of heart that we've kind of come to expect of her, which is great. Like like that line especially is just this vindication of her just being in charge.
Yeah,
like
she's
completely.
had some
To
great,
boss.
Yeah.
some great one-liners where you're just like, oh, hitting home right now.
Aww. Speaking of hitting home.
Yeah.
Go on.
Everyone listening at home, we'd like to thank you for tuning in every week. We really appreciate it. And the way that we like to have you guys show your appreciation for what we do is to go onto iTunes and essentially, when you're on iTunes, give us a review, leave us a comment. It helps boost us to the top of the ratings and lets other people who are big Dark Matter fans find the show, and also build this community around the show. We're still waiting to hear if it's renewed, and people like you are what will help it get another season. So make sure that you are supporting the show, and make sure that you're supporting shows like this, which also build awareness of Dark Matter itself. And you can do that by leaving us 5 stars if you like us, 4 stars if you don't. The other stars, they do not work. Yes. So please do that. That really helps us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe so that we can get those numbers, and people on YouTube will also go, Dark Matter's awesome!
Yeah.
And we appreciate it. And it also helps us get wonderful, wonderful sponsors.
Oh, man.
Like
Our
the one that we have
sponsors.
today.
Yes, let's talk about that sponsor. Today we're sponsored by A&E. Let's talk about A&E. It stands for something. If you know, maybe you should tweet it at us, but I don't. So that's there. But let's talk about real good stuff. A&E, Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath. Now, this is a Emmy-nominated, groundbreaking docuseries featuring Leah Remini, who you may remember from The King of Queens, delightful actress. And this is a true story. Docuseries means true. It's Latin. 10 all-new episodes. Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath, follows her along with a high-level former Scientology executive and church members as they delve deep into these shocking stories of abuse and heartbreak and harassment experienced by those who've left the church and spoken publicly about their experiences. This season, she continues her quest to voice the criticism of the Church of Scientology, which she's very brave for doing. I'm not being facetious, even though that's just how I sound. The series also explores the accounts of former members whose lives have been significantly impacted by the church's practices. So Remini is helping people take action. This is an action series, an action docuseries. Quote me on that. Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath online, on demand, and on the A&E app. Check it out. She's the face of this movement. It's going to be good stuff, you guys. One flight. This is airing the 26th of this month to the 9.
September 12th.
September 12th!
Yep.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You're
I'm not
welcome.
great at dates, y'all, because I'm from the future.
It's true.
But do check this out. A&E, Leah Remini, Scientology and the Aftermath. You're going to learn something, we're going to learn something, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's a very interesting story. I've
Have you
heard her
watched some
talk
of
about
it?
it. I've heard her talk about it on NPR, like when she was first getting all the stories together and things like that. It's very fascinating. It's very engaging. So I highly encourage you guys to check it out.
I watched part of the first season when I was home with my mom, and it's disturbing. It's like really good, but at the same time, you're sitting there going, how are we letting this happen still?
Right.
2, Ken from Chicago, thank you for arts and entertainment, is A&E.
Oh, arts and entertainment.
There you go.
Thank you, Ken.
And yes, we do want another season of Dark Matter.
Oh, duh.
As Joseph Mosey said, we were all pretty disappointed when the show wasn't renewed at SDCC.
So you guys know what to do.
So-
Hashtag Renew Dark Matter. Tweet it. Tweet it
Yes.
now. Tweet it a lot. Retweet it.
Tell your friends to tweet
Tell
it.
your friends to tweet it. Make dummy accounts. Follow Natalie, so she'll do that Instagram thing, and then tweet it. If you don't remember, this is my perfect time to mention. She's like 11 followers away from showing you her MeUndies on Instagram. So, do that.
But more importantly, renew dark matter.
Renew dark matter.
Hashtag it, renew dark
Tweet
matter.
that first, and then this can be for after.
Yes.
Right. That's sounded awful.
Okay.
That's not what I meant.
So yes, speaking of dark matter,
Yes.
I want to get to the real crux,
The real meat?
core,
Yes.
the meat,
The delicious
gooey, sweet, delicious meal that was this episode.
It's so good.
I feel like there was a lot of emotional stakes, a lot of really great sequences.
Yes.
And I really want to start with the android stuff.
Okay.
We didn't get an in-episode name for the guy who took over Android's body.
No.
But
Long hair,
internet
too.
says Korvik.
Korvik. I like it.
Yeah.
Internet says that like IMDb.
Yes.
Internet. Oh,
Like
okay.
IMDb.
I was just gonna call him scraggly hair, but
I mean, hey, you
Okay.
call him whatever you want.
Scraggles and yeah. No, I like Korvik.
Scrangroy.
Scrangroy.
Korvik.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I like Korvik. Korvik is a perfect name for this guy.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Zoe's performance in this episode because it was very subtle.
Yes.
It was all just like different looks. The way that she walked was more masculine. The way that she talked was very like she put some like gravitas in
absolutely.
her voice.
Yeah.
I thought that was
vocal
really
fry.
well done. Oh yeah.
That vocal fry.
listen, Zoe Palmer is an amazing actress, and I'm
Yes.
so glad she's on this show and has like the room to stretch her legs and her acting abilities because it is every episode is just kind of mind blowing.
No, I completely agree. I think that we probably don't say it loud enough on the show, but Zoe Palmer like is the queen of this show a little bit. She's like just has the
little
most
bit, yeah.
opportunity to do the most stuff. It's great that we have the opportunity for everyone to play a different version of themselves, i.e. the other universe.
Yeah.
But like she is literally almost every episode playing a different version of herself, and it is delightful. Like it is such intricate, specific work.
Oh, yeah.
Like yes, and I love it.
Kathy
I
is agreeing with all of our
Great. Kathy,
All of
you're
our
good people.
Great.
points, basically.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I especially like it because in the first season, like her personality, she had to just play an android,
Yeah.
which in and of itself very difficult.
Yes.
And now
That she
she
nailed.
gets to like layer on so many different aspects of it. So she's like playing an android, and then
Doing
she's also
French,
playing
yeah.
someone who is pretending to be an android, who is also an assassin, or she's an android pretending to be a person, pretending to be an android.
yeah.
Like it's so many different layers and levels to what she's doing, and I just appreciate it so much. And I felt like this whole thing with the android being taken over, like they set it up a few episodes ago with Rio coming up to Korvik and being like, yo son, you gonna help me take over this ship. And then we get the next episode where the android comes and points a gun at 3, and now we have this moment where it's full control, takes over the ship, brings in Rio's crew, and is essentially a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
At what point did you guys know she was hacked? Like, I mean, we all kind of saw it from the beginning of the trailer from last
Yeah.
week, but at the same time, what point in this episode did you go, Android's hacked?
I knew it from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
When she was talking to 5, especially when she had that like turned head look on her face, which
Yeah.
like Fry voiceover training.
Oh, go on.
They teach you that if you want to appear creepy, a good way to get into it is to turn your head slightly because it is unnerving and brings that piece out of you.
It's got that bird
So-
feel, that like,
Yeah. Birds are weird.
That's true.
Yeah.
Birds are naturally
If you want to be a
evil.
creep, be a bird. Yeah.
But yeah. So I was
just gonna say it took me a hot second.
Did it?
Yeah, because at first I was just like, oh, there's something wrong with the android that she's not remembering her little like hair date with 5. Like, oh, it's like not important, or it's like it's a different thing she's worried about, or maybe Sarah. I actually thought because of the black hair android thing that we got,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Sarah's taking over. This is Sarah like subtly being like, oh, I'm taking over the android. Oh yeah, we had a hair date. Sorry, I forgot. Right.
Right.
I thought that's what was gonna happen. And I was even holding out hope that Sarah was gonna like intense like organoid from Zoids jump into the android and be like, sorry buddy, you ain't staying here any longer, or something like that.
Right.
Like we didn't get that, unfortunately, but
I mean, we got a version of it.
I think
Yeah.
it straight up took me until we either see the guy see the guy in his chair and are like, oh, this is connected. Bad. Or when she goes, no, it had to be that one, because when she goes, that little bitch, I was like, oh, she would never.
Yeah, that too. I
was like, no, you don't. Android doesn't say that word. Like,
no.
Yeah, I was shocked, but not really, but like shocked.
Right.
Paradox Bug said he or she when she forgot about her hair, which I think was also when I went. I was like, for sure that's what happened, but I couldn't figure out who had hacked her.
Right.
I was like, is it an assassin for Rio, which is sort of what happened, or if it was Sarah, because I still don't trust Sarah.
Really?
No. Okay, wait. We can get into it later.
Yeah,
but at this point,
I have questions.
I have like, I'm literally questioning my own. Like, am I only just not questioning? Like, am I just so adamantly not trusting her because that's my instinct is to? And I feel like Malozzi is just writing this in to like trick me into trusting her. Or should I really trust her?
I feel like you are completely justified in not trusting her, because like basically we're setting up that this woman is like, she has no corporeal body, she has nothing to lose, literally, and she has the ability to use her imagination to make things, anything she wants. Right. So if you just need to push her a little forward on the power grid, and she's gonna explode with like evil energy.
Interesting. Well, that was one of my questions for you guys. Was we had the whole thing with fighting the android was utilizing Sarah and Five and their hacking skills. She was very handy in this episode.
Yeah.
It didn't help you guys trust her anymore.
That's actually what I think they're doing. I think they're setting us to trust her so that we are betrayed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too, but at the same time, that could just be me overthinking it 100%.
Okay.
Another thing is that she's able to create realities, right? And we know that 3, right?
Yes. 3
can go visit her. Yeah, Boone. Great, perfect. I'm sorry, my numbers are off today. So we know that 3 can go and bone her. Like, that's a thing. They can physically... Listen,
he can go boon her?
He can go boon her. And they can, but here's what I'm getting at. They can physically interact. Like, that's a real thing. So theoretically, if she wanted to kill him, she probably could. And we don't know what that would do. Would that mean his body disappears completely? Does she get to jump into it? What's the deal there? So there are a lot of questions about how far her power reaches for me. And I don't think that... I don't know, because she has nothing to lose, right? She's in a corner. She tells us every time we see her how bored she is and how exhaustingly lonely.
Bored.
Exhaustingly lonely.
Okay.
Like,
well, I mean, she could be bored too.
Painfully lonely.
Right.
I'm sure she's bored. I think lonely and bored kind of go hand in hand.
Okay.
In any case, I think that they're gearing her up to be a misunderstood villain. Like the villain that you're like, no, Loki, no.
Okay.
If you're someone we know.
Right.
But you see what I'm getting at. I think that she is going to have a fall from grace.
Yeah.
Because I do trust her right now. I totally do.
Okay.
But that's why I don't trust her.
All right.
Because the show wants me to trust her. And I don't know about that.
Yes.
I've been burned before.
Andrew doesn't do what anyone wants him to do.
I loved one, you guys.
He's
you
not
can't
a
do this to
truster.
me.
Natalie's not a thinker. Andrew's not a truster.
Listen, I'm not a truster.
And Tari's not a feeler. So
No,
we
I mean,
all...
We got this covered, you guys.
We all the problem.
Complementary.
Natalie, what do you think?
For what exactly?
So it didn't help you trust Sarah anymore.
I've written, do I trust Sarah now on my notes?
She doesn't know.
I'm not
It's up in the
sure. I've written it down to think about it because there was just still like, I was like, oh great, Sarah's helping, but at the same time, just there's something about her that just feels off all the time when she's on screen, and so that's what makes me not trust her.
Okay.
So I want to trust her, I do, but at the same time, there's just like that little 1%
Red flag.
where it's like you need to trust your gut, and I have a gut feeling that she's not good. So.
Okay. I have the opposite feeling. I like the theoretically I like the idea of her becoming evil, but like practically I really like the idea of her more becoming a part of the ship. Kind of like we've had in their like other shows, they've had like AI that runs a ship and things like that.
Yeah.
I'd like something like that, or even if they had like a drone that flew around and it was just like, oh, it's Sarah,
Like an Outlaw Star thing?
Right.
Love it.
And because the only thing about her becoming evil or becoming like misunderstood just to go into the real world, I feel like it would be that she'd go into the real world and then she'd be like, I'm bored. I can't create a whole existence here. I'm bored.
Here's my counter
Okay.
to that. Real quick. I'll make it real quick.
Yeah.
So her being evil is not her being evil. It's her being selfish, which we're all allowed to do at some point, right? But her being selfish is essentially, I want to have a life and not be inside a computer. So what I think it is it's her getting together with Rhea. It's her with an opportunity to have a real life. Like, that's what she wanted before she went in the stasis thing.
Got it.
Right? She wanted a life with him. So her evilness is only her being like, hey, you might die if I'm not around, first of all, which is a total thing for him. Like, he's constantly getting into danger, and she's, like, seemingly more and more worried.
Yeah.
Because she has less and less control over what she can affect. So that's what I'm worried about, is that she's at some point gonna do the android thing, like the robot, the Terminator thing of being like, oh, humans aren't safe taking care of themselves. They need someone a little smarter to do it for them.
Maybe.
Sorry, guys. That's my
Melozzi
only
wants to mess with us.
reticence.
Natalee.
I mean,
Melozzi asks what clues. My clue is the fact that then right after that you say poor misunderstood Sarah. That is a clue to me that I can't trust. Here's the thing, I
does say
can't
that
trust
about
her.
everyone.
He says
I
that
know,
about, yeah.
I know. I'm just saying that I can't. She has a secret of some sort, and until I know that secret, whether or not it's like a minor one that she thinks is big or a actual major one, like, I'm not going to trust her. And then he says, but who knows what the secret is, ... question mark. And then, oh wait, Rio knows. Yep.
Oh, Rio.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, Rio.
Yeah.
Secret.
Like poor misunderstood Miyazaki.
Ugh. Yeah, she's real misunderstood.
Totally. Just like Rio.
Just like all the characters.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good Rio time. So
We did.
There was
We
a
did.
line earlier, either in this episode or in last episode, where Six was like, I am my best when I'm on this ship. And I
Yes.
feel like it's the same for Six.
Yes.
I feel like not Six. Rio.
Yeah.
I feel like he is his best when he's on the ship. Like, he is more rational, he's more forward thinking,
Yeah.
and he is more compassionate.
We see that in this episode.
Yeah. Which we learn throughout the course of this dope fight!
Dope fight!
Dope fight!
Pew, 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 pew. What? Brap, brap.
Melozzi said
yeah.
secrets revealed in episode 312.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're
wow,
so
you just made us a
close.
lot more excited.
We're 4 episodes away.
All right, we're going to talk about that in prediction.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. But right now, let's talk about this fight!
Yes, yes.
Sorry.
No, you don't hit me. Don't
I'm
make
just
me
so
hit you.
excited.
Andrew is
I'll
punching
fight you.
Natalie right now.
Right.
He's so pumped from this fight, he
Yeah.
can't control his fists.
Yeah, I'm playing Rio, and she's 2.
Oh, so she's going to beat you up?
Probably. But then I'm going to
Yeah.
give her a look like, I ain't scared of you. And not say anything.
Okay.
That was a good moment, you guys. That's what he did in the show.
So, do you guys
Yep.
feel like through his actions in this episode, he's a bit redeemed? Do you
Yes.
feel like he's a better person?
Uh-huh.
Okay. How
100%.
so?
I don't.
I think...
No, you go ahead.
Let me just say, I think what you said about him being his best on the ship is absolutely astute, and I think it's not just the ship; it's them. It's this battle is I felt like the battle was very symbolic of, like, he is at his best when he's fighting people who are at their best, and 2 is the best. Like, this ship is the best of the best. This is the best people in the galaxy, the most capable people in the galaxy.
Would you say it's the best?
I think it's the best.
Oh.
So the bestness of this can't be stressed enough. And I think that is important for growth, because Rio is surrounded now by people who consider him the end-all be-all of perfection, or at least treat him like that.
Yeah.
And so he has nowhere to go, nowhere to grow. Everything he does is so scrutinized because he's the emperor. And it's like, all right, well, do something for you.
He's sort of surrounded by yes men.
Right. Yes, exactly. And the ones who are, like, giving him real honest feedback, like our teacher, are not being heard, are not being understood.
Yeah.
And it's tragic, because it's just that they don't speak to him in a way that he is now capable of, like, responding to. You know what I mean? And I think the people on the ship are. I think
Right.
that fight was a whole conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I felt like so much was, and even though they actually had a conversation during it, I felt like there was so much said just by the way they fought each other, and just by the way that they finished fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good.
Natalie, what do you think?
I don't know if he's fully redeemed.
No.
I wouldn't call it redemption
fully.
in any sort of way, but I definitely agree that he is better when he's with them, because they balance him out. They're the yin to his yang, or
Right.
all those fun sequences. Also, Malozzi said that fight sequence took an entire day to shoot, and kudos to stunt coordinator John Stead.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
so-
John
it
Stead.
was beautiful.
Yeah, can I just say, like, I was telling Tori. Sorry,
Tori.
I'm so.
You're sorry?
I'm
Are
sorry.
you sorry?
I'm sorry about Tori. Tauri. So Tauri and I were talking about this before it, but in Jackie Chan classic action movies, which I personally feel are kind of the pinnacle of action movies, they kind of like figured it out. They talk about in kind of analysis and stuff. They talk about how every shot should be framing the next expectation. And a very specific example of this is the danger sign. When they finally jumped up to that second level and we're fighting along the second level, our camera pans from the left to the right, and as we get to the right, we see this little danger, peligro, like, oh, like, look out, you could fall down, like, sign. And as soon as the camera moves into the correct position, like 10 seconds after we're first seeing that sign is like 2 is kicked out of it. It was such masterful shooting, such masterful fighting. Like, this is why I didn't like Iron Fist. It's because there's so much attention to the way that this was done, and in Iron Fist, it's not. So let me just say, this show's better than Iron Fist.
Well, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I can.
unequivocally though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know no one was ever had that in. I know no one ever asked or was called that into question. But I just think it needs to be stated. If anyone ever needs to quote me. Do you know if Iron Fist is better than
AfterBuzz exclusive.
Exclusive.
Dark Matter.
Tweet it right
Better than Iron Fist.
Tweet that. Dark Matter, renew Dark Matter, better than Iron Fist. Tweet it right now.
Oh, jeez. I will say that I think my standout Rio moment from this episode was when it was the quietest moment of the episode where he goes into his old quarters and he grabs the sword. And just all the look of regret on his face and his just pensiveness was perfect. It was perfect. It was so well acted. It was so well just like composed. Yes, Natalie.
Leslie just said Natalie is 5 sisters. 5 sister. Don't tell anyone.
Oh,
I just told everyone. I'm so sorry.
Oh no!
All right. I actually that was the
entertaining.
note that I didn't write down about the symbolism. That scene was so symbolic of him missing the ship, of him missing the people who challenge him and make him better and give him an opportunity to like breathe and grow and literally use the swords that like make him feel like a champion. He's not a champion right now. He's the emperor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He misses it. And I miss him.
I do too. I felt like
Tell me it's real.
it's real.
Okay.
And I mean, we technically know that. I mean, we are told that the House Ishida falls.
Yes.
So maybe we'll get him back.
Maybe it's
Who
an
knows?
intentional fall. Maybe he steps away.
Maybe.
To be like, hey,
Ooh.
House Ishida, get off my nuts.
Oh,
Or
yes.
I mean, he did
Yeah, that's
just
how he
start.
talks, right?
He did just start a giant fight
Right.
with a
Pyre.
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 So that could
Pyre.
easily be a downfall.
That's true.
True.
He's still
He's kind of
unrelenting.
still, yeah, and also kind of like arrogantly, like going. He's like, because he said, "Oh, I'll win."
Yeah.
It's like that's pretty arrogant to like go into a huge battle with that thought when you're undermanned. You know, so
Yeah.
who knows?
I mean, guys, do you think that if he put some of the Raza people on his council, it would help
No.
him be?
This is the thing. You literally cannot combine the House of Ishida with the Raza. You need them both to break down because the House of Ishida is about tradition and it's about you have to listen to us or we'll kill you. It's about we have an empire. It's very
just like that.
yeah, exactly. They all sound good. it's very heavy-handed and there's very little room for growth or exploration. It's all about profits and margins and like it's about a success in a very like when he's talking to those military people and the military's like, oh, sacrifice the place, not a big deal. We only got like a couple million people on that planet. Like it's very like, oh, whatever, life's cheap, which is true, but it's not true in the same way that it's true on the Raza.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Life is cheap, but the lives on the Raza are important. And each one of those lives is worth 10 million or whatever it is. I don't know the going rate of the lives in the rest of the universe. These people, Adrian and Solaro, join them for like 3 episodes and become 10, like they level up 5 times. It's crazy. They get so powerful just by being around. I think this crew fosters power and growth.
They foster growth.
Yes, and honesty and
That being
love.
said,
Yeah.
I think that the crew of the Raza could like lead House Ashita if you completely eliminated all other like influences at the top there.
Right.
If you did get Mizaki and all
in a
those
vacuum.
type of people. Yeah, exactly. If they could, in theory, be the ones that are the only ones talking to him and like have a council of some sort.
Yeah.
Then maybe. But I think Rio has too much pride to do that, and so I don't believe it would ever happen.
Yeah, I'd agree. So his whole goal was to get the blink drive, and he failed this time, and they had that moment where basically they confirmed that if there's no way to reconcile this competition, not even a competition, this battle between the two of them will ultimately end in one of their deaths.
Right.
Which I thought was really sad.
Yes.
I miss Rio.
Yes,
but
too.
like I get it, because both sides are unwilling to move from their position.
Let me just throw this out there. Does it have to be an actual physical death, or could it be a death of memories?
Interesting point.
Could it be a reset of Rio's mind?
Or a reset of everyone's mind.
I mean,
Season 4. They don't remember anymore.
That feels... There's certain amount of ethics.
No, I know. That was just throwing it out there.
It's a good point.
I got it.
It's a very solid point.
And I was just responding.
Do we
that
have to kill
ethics are a
him?
thing.
What if Sarah jumps in Rio's body and then starts dating three anyway?
Oh, that'd be
Or-
hot.
It'd be really cute, actually. Yeah.
Except for we don't know the history between Sarah and Rio, so
Yeah,
who
that's
knows?
true. That's true.
That's
There's
like
a
the
thing.
story.
There's a
Yes.
thing there we
Yeah.
still need to discover.
That's true. So the last thing we got, basically based on the jumping off from the blink drive,
Okay.
is that it pulses out when they're trying to test, and everyone passes out.
Yes.
And that's the last thing that we get in this episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we also got the confirmation that the colonies took the deal with Rio.
Yes.
Yes. we
And
did
they're
get
like, yeah, we're definitely going to do that, Rio. No worries. We
Those-
owe you.
Yeah.
that. Dum-dums.
Well,
I mean, we'll see.
that's the only thing. That's the only thing. They're so disposable. If Six had made that deal, it would be different. But it's not. It's a bunch of
That's
it's
true.
Bald Guy, and I don't want
But
Bald
also,
Guy to
can
go.
we talk
Did we
about-
talk about Bald Guy's moment?
I think you.
Okay,
might
I
have.
talked about it
Not-
outside.
yes.
Just really quick. When Bald Guy grabs that sword, he makes such a meal out of just testing the sword and feeling the sword. It's like a solid 15 seconds of just whoosh, yeah. And you're like, oh my god, he's gonna be so badass in a minute.
I really
and
thought
then
he was
he
gonna fight
never
really
is.
well.
I'm really worried now. Well, I guess he dropped the sword, but now I was really worried before I had that thought that he was gonna die in a subsequent episode because he was gonna be like, doop a doop doo, I'm having a meeting with Rio, and Rio would be like, where'd you get my goddamn sword? Get over here, and then just kill him.
Yeah,
out of
right,
you know,
of course, because that's classic Rio.
if he's on
Oh, yeah.
Zyron,
classic Zyron Rio.
Zyron Rio, you know?
Zyrio.
Zero.
Anyway,
Zero.
Before we jump to
Okay.
predictions, we have a special video. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show that our normal host Yell. She is out at Comic-Con the whole weekend. She's been doing interviews, and she had some time to talk with the crew of the Raza, and they had a little thing for you guys. So check it out.
Hi, this is Melissa O'Neill coming at you from San Diego Comic-Con. Thank you so much for all your support. We love you guys. AfterBuzz, AfterShow. Mwah.
Hi, thank you to the fans. We love AfterBuzz.
Thank you, Dark Matter fans, for tuning in every week, and we absolutely love AfterBuzz.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching Dark Matter. We love the AfterBuzz show.
It's like I watch it a fair amount, actually. So you just know that wherever you guys say.
that's where that has
Yep.
to end.
It's like, whatever you guys
Whatever
say.
you say, leaving it out there.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
the
great.
warning. That's even more intimidating than anything.
That was- no,
Whatever
that-
you say. What's it gonna do to me?
Which wait brings us back to the show a little bit, because they had that whole moment where Fi was like, I think he's talking bull or something,
yeah,
and it
and
cuts
then
to
shit
yeah,
says-
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, that was clever and fun and just like a great little moment. I liked it a lot. Kind of like what just happened here.
Indeed. So now we will jump to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah.
That was a nice harmony. Yeah.
High Fives and Harmony, our new band.
Heck yeah. So we have so many things to predict about.
Yes.
In the predictions for next, or not the predictions, but the preview for next episode, we see that essentially it looks like they're thrown back in time, and the only civilization that is there is current Earth, and so they go to live in a suburban neighborhood while they fix things.
Is it 1950s or what? Like, because I watch the show without getting any of the afters. Like,
Yeah, I was
got
just
it.
gonna say that
you
when
guys
you watch
didn't
it
see
on
the-
the app, like the
Yeah, you
streaming
don't
app,
get the
it doesn't
previews.
show you the previews.
Well, it looks like our modern time, so like
Ooh. Oh, so that
about
sounds fun.
nowish. Yeah, so you
Oh.
could, depending on where you go, you can run into the Raza crew.
They're still gonna go to
doing
like a
stuff.
50s diner though.
Wait, guys, can I so I could walk down the street right now and run into them?
I mean, I hope so.
Probably.
Yeah.
That would be so.
They're
cool.
actually at San Diego though. They're at San Diego Comic-Con. It's super weird.
Yeah.
And the people are
So-
like, "Are you the Dark Matter people?" And you're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, they're like, we are the crew of the Raza. And they're like, yeah, you're the crew of
we
the
know.
Raza.
Yeah,
right?
we get
so
that,
many
yeah.
We're
San Diego Comic-Con
literally
fans.
the crew of the Raza.
This is a good episode, Joe. Joseph Malozzi.
It's very perfectly timed.
Ooh,
what
Joseph
do you
Mosey
guys-
says next episode equals Back to the Future meets Stranger Things.
Into it.
I'm so in.
I need it.
Play D&D in the past.
So we have that. Also, we have Malozzi mentioning that the secret is revealed in the basically the last or second to last episode of the season. So you can let us know what you think that is.
Yeah,
Yes.
please let us know.
So what do
Tell
you
us
guys-
your thoughts.
So what do you guys think? What are your predictions for the next episode or the remainder of the season? Silence.
After you?
Oh,
I have-
you
I have
can
a
go
lot of
first.
thoughts.
You go first, and I'll
Tell us
jump in if
them.
I have opinions.
Okay, fair. I worry for all the characters I care about, especially the characters with
course.
less, like with no names, like Bald Guy.
Yeah.
I'm really worried for them. I'm very curious as to see like if Guy, who is now trapped in like black space, is ever going to come back from that, or if
Oh,
there's
yeah.
any capability of him coming back from that, and what's happening to his body. Meanwhile, is he in a coma? Is he just straight up like dead?
It seems
I have
like
so many
he's in a
questions.
coma.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I would imagine, but I'm still very curious. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I want to know about that
It's in a
stuff.
sunken place.
I need Oh no! I need return of the black tentacle monster.
Okay.
Because it's been a long time since we've had any like magic. We're getting a lot of like I guess the time machine was a little bit magical.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of really rad sciencey stuff. I need that werewolf. Still waiting for my werewolf.
Okay.
And I want to.
It's like a wish list.
Yeah,
Wish list.
it's a wish
These
list.
aren't These
It's
aren't
like-
predictions.
yeah.
They're just a wish list.
Right. Yeah. I also wish for another. I want a Rio sword fight sequence between him and Misaki, because I think that they're both like the most ready for that battle to happen, and also probably really sword talented. Mm-hmm. He's very sword talented. I know. I want to see more of her sword talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm looking forward to, and that's my opinion.
Dope.
Malozzi, that was a wish list. I hope you were taking it all down.
Right.
Yeah.
Writing everything down.
Tentacle
He
monster.
can rewind.
Yeah, he can write. That's true. Just go back and rewatch this a few
Yeah.
times.
I watch the old seasons anytime I get like, oh, where's one?
What about you, Natalie? You got anything? Or
I mean, yeah, I'm worried about my faves, which I'm not allowed to say who my faves are apparently.
Besides
Yeah,
Bald Guy,
yeah, yeah.
who's the best.
yeah, I hear his name is just Baldy.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
I like it. It's easy to remember.
Good.
I'm stoked for this in the past episode.
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, I feel like that'll kind of establish how this world has been built. So I'm assuming they're
Ooh.
going back to Earth, right?
Yes.
So I'm thinking it'll probably help us figure out exactly how we got to this point where we have spaceships and all these other really cool things.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
And or they're once again in some weird mind dream, like co-dream thing, and they're being controlled in some form
Okay.
or manipulated in some form.
I hope it's actually the past.
Me
because
too.
the name of the episode next week is Isn't That a Paradox? So it could be actual time travel. You had a thought.
I had a crazy thought. What if Sarah is able to make a whole reality if she matrixes everyone?
Okay.
That's as far as I got, but
Got
oh
it.
man, did that explode in my brain a minute
Okay.
ago.
Yeah, like she's the one who's built this 1950s world.
Yeah,
Or whatever
what if
it
they
is.
don't- yeah.
I think it's 2017.
What if she
actually.
solves all the
Yeah.
problems in the universe, but only in this matrix for them, so that she can control them? Because she's selfish and she just wants 3 to not die.
She's so selfish.
She just wants 3 to not die, which is not that selfish, but it's selfish enough to be scary as a robot.
Okay,
Got it.
or she's just trying to repair their minds
Right.
because they got destroyed by the EMP.
Got it.
And maybe she is really good, and that's all I'll say for that.
Good
But
question.
also, Malozzi says next episode is the perfect episode to introduce your non-sci-fi watching friends to the show.
Oh,
so
Interesting.
sounds like a good way to get people to renew it.
Yeah.
You.
Let's have a party.
Yes.
Let's have a watching party.
That would be dope.
I'm super down.
All right.
All right.
Start planning it, and we'll live tweet it.
Boom! Live tweeting this Friday.
Yeah. So we'll live tweet it from our Twitters, which you can follow us at. I'm wrapping up the show, guys.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us here on AfterBuzz TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure that we hit the top of the charts so that everyone knows about Dark Matter, so we can get a renewal on Dark Matter, because we love the show.
We do.
And we love talking about it. And we love doing this every week, Sundays at 4 o'clock Pacific Daytime Time. And in between the weeks, in between the episodes, make sure to catch up with us on our social medias. Natalie, where can they find you?
You can find me at Natalee Dyer. NATALEEDYER on Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr and all those fun social medias.
Dope.
I'll try and tweet more.
I'm Andrew Mena. You can find me on Twitter at Andrew Mena, on Instagram at @TheAndrewMena. And if you like D&D podcasts, maybe check that out. We post every Saturday. Natalie and I are on the podcast, and it's called Welcome to the Dungeon Hole, available on iTunes and SoundCloud, at Dungeon Hole on Twitter.
Awesome. I have a lot to plug. So, you can find me at Tauri J. It's TORIJAY. That's on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me and my friend Lex Michael on our new podcast called Missing Out. We discuss different media that we've missed out on throughout the course of our lives, and we do a retrospective and also kind of a tracing of the timeline of the movie or music or things of that sort. So check it out. We're releasing our second episode. It is Night of the Living Dead on iTunes. You can also find the wonderful Anders Lives shirts on OTTs. It is on Redbubble. Redbubble.com/people/OTTs. It's OTTs, your OTP. Thanks for joining us once again. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Hot chocolate.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.